This is a HeadGum podcast.
Universal FanCon is a brand new convention coming to the Baltimore Convention Center in April of 2018. FanCon will be a round-the-clock event featuring comics, cosplay, gaming, celebrity guests, music, and more with a focus on diversity and inclusion. Get your tickets now at universalfancon.com because geek is universal.
Hey, this is Francesca Ramsey, but everyone online knows me as Cheska Lee, and you are listening to the Black Girl Nerds podcast, and it's dope.
My name is Idris Elba, and you are listening to the Black Girl Nerds podcast.
Hi, this is Daryl Bell from Planet Earth. Now, actually, I'm from a different world, School Days, and, well, Chicago. There you go. I'm from there, too, and it's a joy and a pleasure to be here on the Black Girl Nerds podcast.
Hi, I'm Sujata Day. I'm playing Sarah on Insecure, and you're listening to Black Girl Nerds podcast.
This is Mark Bernard, and you are now listening to the Black Girl Nerds podcast.
I'm Dee Watkins, New York Times bestselling author of The Cook Up and The B-Side. You are now listening to the Black Girl Nerds podcast.
What's up, y'all? It's producer Will Packer, and you're listening to the Black Girl Nerds podcast. Keep it locked right here.
Holla boys and girls, it's the BGN. Coming from the Marvel world to the DC friends. All the way from Hollywood to the PCN. She defends everyone from sleazy men. Won't apologize for spitting Shonda rhymes. The space that we make is never colonized. We're talking games and movies and actors. Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds. Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds. Yeah, better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds. Ha. Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds. Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds.
Thanks for tuning in to episode 121 of the Black Girl Nerds podcast. My name is Jamie and I am your host. This episode is titled Spider-Man Homecoming, Nelsan Ellis Tribute, and Jason Mewes. 3 segments. In our first segment, one of the most popular comic book films of the year just premiered this weekend, Spider-Man Homecoming. And we have guest Laura Harrier, who plays the role of Liz Allen, on a one-on-one interview with KB. In our second segment, this past weekend we heard about the tragic passing of actor Nelsan Ellis. Nelsan has played many roles and is best known for his work as Lafayette Reynolds on the HBO hit series True Blood. So in this tribute features a clip from True Blood, one of his most popular clips as Lafayette, and also an interview he did with Sway in the Morning. In our third segment, we're back at Tidewater Comic Con again, this time with Jason Mewes. Jason you know best as Jay from Jay and Silent Bob. He's done movies like Mallrats, Clerks, Dogma, and the Jay and Silent Bob movies, of course. And he talks about his work with Kevin Smith, and they've got some new projects under their belt. So that's our show. 3 incredible segments. And next week, we will not have a podcast, and the week after that, we will not as well. So we're going on a 2-week hiatus because we're getting prepped for San Diego Comic Con, one of the biggest conventions of the year. And trust me, when we come back, we will have all of the highlights ready for you to listen to of all of our various interviews that happen throughout the con. So stay tuned for that. So for now, stay tuned for episode 121, Spider-Man Homecoming, Nelsan Ellis Tribute, and Jason Mewes. Enjoy. Laura Harrier is an actress and a model. Harrier was first recognized for her portrayal of Destiny Evans in the short-lived reboot of the American soap opera One Life to Live. Currently, you can find her playing the role of Liz Allen in Spider-Man Homecoming. It was also recently announced that Harrier will be co-starring with actor Michael B. Jordan in the new HBO film adaptation of the novel Fahrenheit 451.
So much for chatting. I'm KB with Black Girl Nerds, and I'm here with Laura Harrier from the new Spider-Man Homecoming film. I saw it. I loved it.
Thank you.
It's really, really,
Thank you
really
so
good.
much.
So, just for our fans and our outlet, just tell us a little bit about how you got into acting and how you got this role.
So being an actor wasn't really like the plan, you know. People always, do you always know like that you were gonna do this? No. But I moved to New York for college, and then I kind of was modeling a bit. And I did that for a few years, but it was never what I wanted to do. It was kind of just this weird thing that happened. But I booked a lot of commercials, and kind of people would ask me to be like in their short films, or my friends in film school and stuff. And I don't know, and I found that I really loved it, so I decided to then stop modeling to go to drama school. So I went to William Esper Studio in New York for the 2-year intensive program, and then in my last year there, Steve McQueen cast me in his pilot for HBO, so that was kind of like my first real job. So then I did that, and that actually didn't end up happening, but we did like a long work together for a long time. And then I went to LA, and I had my first Spider-Man audition, and then I just kept auditioning from there, and yeah, here I am.
Wow, awesome. So, in the film, it's really, really refreshing to see all of the diversity.
Yeah, for sure.
Finally. So talk about the impact it had on you, just kind of as a woman of color, being cast in almost, I think it is the most diverse Marvel film coming out to date at this point, like outside of Black Panther, because it has it.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. Talk about that impact.
It's incredible. Like I'm really honored to be this person. I don't know. I mean, it's always kind of where am I going? I'm just really happy that John kind of spearheaded this whole thing. Like, it was really him that was very adamant about, I want this to look like, oh, thank you, to look like a school in Queens. Like, we're in New York City, it's 2017, this is how the world looks, and thank you. And it shouldn't be this big groundbreaking thing, but of course it is. But I really hope that this movie is a big step forward in changing what film looks like and having more representation. Like, growing up, there weren't people that looked like me in movies. Like, there weren't families that looked like mine. Like, that just wasn't a thing, and representation is so important. And I remember, like, being really young and being like, oh, that sucks. Like, no, like, there's just nobody that I connect to like that. Right, exactly. And if I can be that person for little brown girls, like, I'm just really, really happy and grateful about that.
Of course. Yeah. And it's such an incredible thing, because it's true. Like, growing up, man, I just was like, I would love to see myself on screen, but outside of, like the Cosby Show and like more adult shows like Martin and things like that, just stuff in like my area.
Like Martin, or I don't know,
even Living Single and
Living
like
Single
that.
and all that stuff, but it's not like, I didn't connect to that,
Well, and also they weren't our age, right?
Yeah, they weren't our age. So, like, as a kid, like, they're not our age, and also, I don't know, like, I'm biracial, so, like, there just were no families that looked like mine on TV, like, at all. So, yeah, I think it's really important, and I'm just really, really happy that this is the way that they decided to go. And also, John really just wanted to cast the best person for each character.
Right, and he didn't want to look at the race.
Yeah, I don't think he looked at the race. And I know my very first Spider-Man audition, like, I was in the waiting room with girls of every color. Like, everybody was there. So I know that they didn't go in to Liz being like, we want a black girl for this one. Like, none of us are, like, the token whatever. It's kind of more about just the reality of the world and what the difference between, like, I think, like, diversity and tokenism is. Like, this is a diverse world, and, not, like, there to be the token black girl.
Right. Which I do appreciate that he thought, like, a little bit more in depth about it, and was just like, hey, I want to select the individual who will bring this character to life, versus sticking to the typical comic trope and having, like, just a standard, like, white girl with blue hair.
Totally, and it's like,
eyes and
oh, well, that's how it was in the comics, and that was 1962.
Right. Things have changed.
Yeah, and, this is Spider-Man now, and it feels very current, and I like yeah, if he was dropped into our world, it would look like this.
It does. And I do, I'm just going back as we were talking like a little bit about like living single and kind of the things that like representation, how it used to look. I love that show. I connected with them in a different way, but because they weren't my age and they were working adults,
exactly.
It's nice to see like now, I guess, like the kind of bonds that they had on Living Single, I feel like you guys have as a cast in terms of like they were super close.
Yeah.
And they did everything
That's such a good
together.
comparison.
And so,
I loved that show.
Because they've had such unique and great friendships. Like, and even though they were adults, you still saw the love and the devotion and the loyalty that they had to each other.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of that in this cast, even though, they're in high school and it's younger and they don't have, well, everyone except for Peter, they really don't have the weight of the world falling on their shoulders. They still have a lot of that camaraderie, and I like really, really appreciated that.
Awesome. Oh my God, now that's in my head forever. Living single. The nicest kind of world. Oh my God, that's not
it was the best
all
intro.
day.
It was really the best intro. So, I mean, tell us just kind of in your words a little bit more about Liz and what she brings to this film specifically, and really what she brings to Peter's life.
So, Liz is a senior. She's a little older than the other kids. She's a captain of the academic decathlon team.
Yep, she's brilliant.
Exactly. So she's super smart. She's, going to MIT early decision. She has all of these things going on. Like, she's the girl who's captain of the homecoming committee and every single thing in school. And I really love that about her, that she is a huge nerd too. Like, she's super nerdy, and like John would say that to me constantly, like, bring out your inner nerd. Like, I know she's there, like, bring her out. So like embracing that and showing that you can be cool and popular and super smart and nerdy and still be pretty and like still like have things with boys. Like, I'm so sick of seeing just like these tiny types of women in films, and I just really appreciate like making her a well-rounded human being.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's
like
how
multifaceted. Like, we're
That's
all
how
multifaceted,
we are.
multidimensional, and like it's time that women seem that the way on screen that they are in life, especially women of color. Like, it's just so rare, and I'm just like so grateful to be in something that appreciates that.
Yeah, I do really appreciate the range that they allowed Liz to have.
Yeah.
And not just Liz, but Liz and Michelle and Peter. Like,
completely.
they really have the full cast, and they are allowing them to kind of be the kids that they are and experiment with who they are and figure out life and figure out the path and the journey.
And I feel like, I really connected, that high school aspect of that, of finding yourself and kind of like figuring out where you fit in the world. Obviously, Peter the most, but all of the characters are kind of trying to figure out who they are and where they fit in and where they stand in these stories.
Yeah. So, I've seen the film and I saw the way the audience really reacted to your chemistry with Tom on screen.
Oh, cool.
So just kind of tell me a little bit about what that process was like. Like, how did you guys get close enough to really form this bond that shows on screen between Peter and Liz?
So we first met in the screen test, and instantly, I don't know, Tom is just so genuinely nice and cool that I was really like put at ease, because I was obviously horribly nervous going into this test. So I feel like we all just hung out a lot. Like, it wasn't sort of this manufactured thing of like, Tom, we should sit down and get to know each other so this comes across. Like, we really just became friends, and it was easy. Like, all of us hung out together all the time throughout filming, and then days on set are really long. And Tom had a really fancy trailer, so we were always in there all the time, and like it was really organic and natural. Like, there isn't really any secret behind it to just actually being friends.
Right, and that's good to know. And then it's also good to know because, just when this ends, you'll still be friends, and and when you're shooting other things, like, you can still talk and hang out.
Yeah, and it's just so nice to have other people to go through this very bizarre experience that we're going through together. Right. It's my and Dan Jacob's first movie, so and all of us first movie on this scale. So it's just really, really, like, I just feel really lucky to like have people to share that with.
Yeah, so speaking of that, I mean, I know things will dramatically change for you guys, like, once this film drops in your life. So what kind of advice have you received from kind of the veteran actors on set, just about how to handle everything that's coming down the pipeline,
I mean, the veteran actors on set, I feel like what I more learned from them was more on-set stuff. You know, just working with Michael Keaton for a while and just watching the way that he holds himself on set and how professional he is, how kind he is to everyone, how happy he is to be there, really. Like, you could tell that he loves doing this. He loves making movies. He wants to show up every day. He has the best attitude. And, you know, I think those are, like, the lessons that we can really learn, especially as young actors. Like, if we're so lucky to still be doing this then in the future, which I really hope to be doing, you know, you just never want to lose that, I think. In terms of life stuff, I don't know. I think the person I would talk to most about that is Zendaya, because she is, you know, pretty famous. But she's also so normal. Yeah. Like very down to earth and normal. And I don't know. I think we all kind of are who we are. I think we're all, you know, pretty grounded people with good parents and all of that stuff that I can't see anything drastically changing besides
the
more,
fame, just maybe, you know,
more people in the world will know who I am.
Right.
But I don't think, like, myself and the rest of the cast, like, are going to change personally so much. I don't foresee that happening.
Right, yeah. Just mostly, you know, a few more people will know who you are.
Exactly.
They'll want to know things about you.
Yeah, and of course that's a thing, and that I'm kind of terrified about. But I don't know. I live in Brooklyn. I'll go, like, hide over there.
Just go to your apartment.
Exactly.
And
I'm just like gonna take a break.
Right. Okay, so I do have a question in terms of, you know, what's kind of at the center of this film that you want fans to take away?
You know, I think this is a film about identity and growing up and finding yourself. That it's okay to not have everything figured out. You know, nobody has everything figured out, and I think that that's a big theme for Peter, of thinking that I'm past this. I'm past high school. I got it. Like, I'm grown up. I know my shit. I know exactly what's going on, when he doesn't, and none of us do. And I think, you know, rushing. I remember being in high school and being like, I just want to get out of here. I'm so over this. Like, I'm so past this, and I wasn't, and those were, like, totally invaluable years that I went through, and where you do the most growing and most learning. Absolutely. And that, I think that carries through into adulthood too. You know, I think that even right now, like, I've been constantly reminding myself to, like, stay in the moment and appreciate this now, because I'm like, I just want this movie to come out. I want these things to happen, and, like, kind of rushing through. But all of these are, like, very important moments in life and very important aspects. And same with growing up or in high school or where any age that you are. I think being in the moment, being grateful, and being okay with the person that you are right now, not trying to change for anyone or change for yourself.
Yeah, and being appreciative, that's huge. A huge takeaway. I mean, just saying thanks, because, you know, at the end of the day, we all asked to be where we are now. And so, like, kind of appreciating those moments when they happen.
Yeah, not constantly rushing forward and going to the future. And, trying to be like, oh, this is who I am right now, and I'm okay with this, and I like the person that I am, and I don't want to change for anybody.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So, are there any special scenes, because I don't want to spoil anything, but are there any special scenes that you loved that actually were left out of the final cut that you could speak about?
Yeah. I don't know if I could talk about it, though.
Okay.
Yeah. We had a really, I don't know if I could say, but, there is. Yes. My answer is yes. That's it. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's not in the movie, but it was cool to shoot. It was something with me and Michael Keaton. It was cool.
Oh, yeah. Man. And having seen it, I'm like, I might, like, stop recording and have it on my just so I know. But, so also just what were some of the challenges that you encountered while filming? Were there any?
Yeah, of course. I mean, of course. I think it's more like the pressure of being in a film like this, of this size. I just kind of constantly had to trick myself about what we were doing. Like, if I was, like, on set and I was like, oh my God, maybe millions of people are going to see this. You're in Spider-Man. Like, all of that. Like, because I'll just, like, start running with that and just, like, go to a whole different place. Like, I just had to focus on what I was doing and do a good job and be present and just think about who my scene, you know, just connecting with the person that I was there with. And that was probably the biggest challenge, is just not letting the scope of what this is, like, cause me to collapse under the pressure, which was made so much easier by the people that I was surrounded with, and so lucky to have grounded, cool people and supportive friends, and that was definitely helpful in that.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, I have to ask just a little bit, were you familiar with Liz Allen, prior to taking on the role? Kind of what was the preparation? What was kind of the preparation that you kind of took as an angle to get this?
No, I mean, prior to this whole experience, I didn't know who Liz was. I was familiar with just the comics in general and Spider-Man, but I wasn't a big enough fan to know Liz. But once I got the job, I kind of started at the beginning of the comics and read through, and Liz appears pretty early on in Amazing Spider-Man. She's like issue 4 or something, I think. So that, it was cool to kind of get to do the research and the history, and my dad actually bought me like a huge stack of comic books, and I just got through them, which I got, and I got super into it too. I had read it as a kid, but it had been a long time, so it was fun to like get back into the comic book world.
And it's different too, when you're taking on a role versus just reading it as a child, and you're just like, wow, this is really cool. But then when you are going to step into kind of this iconic role, it takes a different shape and a different form.
Yeah, exactly. But also, that being said, like, my Liz is not the Liz from the comics.
And that's what I was about to say. So how did you, what did you do to kind of make her unique from the Liz in the comics?
I just go back to, the diversity and all this stuff. Like, I just wanted it to feel modern, and I didn't want it to feel like we were stretching to fit into this box that's already conceived. Like, I think there were a lot of different references for Liz. Like, John had me watch a lot of 80s movies. We all did. But he was like free, like, Say Anything was a big one. So, like, very Ione Skye and Say Anything. She was, like, for sure a big influence.
I can see that now.
Yeah. So she was a big one for Liz. Different people in my life. Like, you just, like, kind of build these characters from, like, kind of like taking from all these different influences, and of course the comics were something of that, and like, you don't want to lose where this came from, but it was cool that we had the freedom to really create our own characters.
Yeah, I appreciate that John did that. I mean, I did notice a few, like, nods to the 80s in the film, and even in, like, the way he shot certain scenes, it felt a lot like...
Well, there is, like, the Ferris Bueller.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, but then it also just felt like an 80s movie in some ways.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, that's really cool, because I just remember growing up and watching those films and being a part of it. So, so it's interesting that you mentioned that movie, because I was like, oh, now I kind of see it, because I didn't before when I watched the film.
But
you
now, seen it yet? I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen it since I was doing the research for this.
Right.
But we definitely took a lot from that. I don't know. I mean, all those John Hughes movies too. It's funny too, because I grew up in Evanston, Illinois, which is where all of those take place.
Right.
So when I told John that, Hughes. He was like, "Oh my God!" He was so excited. He was like, "I knew you were meant to be in this movie." I was like, "Yeah, is this a sign?" Like, so yeah.
He's like, this is the connection that we've been waiting for. Yes. So then my final question, because I know we're going to have to wrap soon, is will we see Liz Allen again?
That's not up to me. I don't know. I would love to, but that's not my call.
Totally understand. Yeah. Well, we would love to see you again.
Thank you.
And so thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Nelsan Ellis is an actor and a playwright, best known for his role as Lafayette Reynolds in the HBO hit series True Blood. If you read the book series at all, the character of Lafayette Reynolds only lasts in one book. However, the TV adaptation of Lafayette lasted for 7 seasons. He was on the show from 2008 till its series completion in 2014. He also played the role of Bobby Bird in the 2014 James Brown biopic, Get On Up. His last works is on the American procedural drama series Elementary, which is a contemporary update of the Sherlock Holmes series. The following clip is Nelsan Ellis as Lafayette Reynolds in one of the most popular scenes in the series. And the following is an interview that he did over at Sway in the Morning featuring hosts Sway and Heather B.
Is there a problem with my burger?
Just a couple of drunk rednecks, that's all.
Well, what's their problem?
Oh, come on now, it's not worth it.
What did they say?
He said the burger...
What did they say, Arlene?
He said the burger might have AIDS. Lafayette. Oh, fudge.
Excuse me. Who ordered the hamburger with AIDS?
I ordered the hamburger deluxe.
In this restaurant, a hamburger deluxe comes with french fries, lettuce, tomato, mayo, and AIDS. Do anybody got a problem with that?
Yeah. I'm an American, and I got a say in who makes my food.
Oh, baby, it's too late for that. Faggots been breeding your cows, raising your chickens, even brewing your beer long before I walk my sexy ass up in this motherfucker. Everything on your goddamn table got AIDS.
You still ain't making me eat no AIDS burger.
Well, all you gotta do is say, hold the AIDS. Here. Eat it. Oh, bitch, you come in my house, you gonna eat my food the way I fucking make it. Do you understand me? Tip your waitress.
Well, my mother, she passed recently, having never seen an episode because she's like, I ain't watching you walk around acting like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you can buy me some outfits. No,
I'm sorry to hear that too. By the way,
oh, it's cool.
Okay.
It's my mother was a Southern girl,
Mm-hmm.
and Southern girls just don't like seeing their men in that fashion. My father's a deacon; he's Christian, so he's supportive, but he doesn't watch this show.
He doesn't watch it.
No, he thinks it's heathenistic. Yeah, he's a bit embarrassed because on Mondays when he go to work, a lot of people have something to say about his son.
Yeah, are you like the most popular character on True Blood right now? Do you know?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
You're a very humble dude, man.
He really is.
He's a really humble dude. Like, you're such a powder keg on the show, but here on person, it's just like a mild-mannered, humble dude right here.
Yeah, he really is. Laid back, chilling, got the nice outfit on. So not Lafayette, but
I'm joking with you. Okay, we got Edwin Perez from Brooklyn on the line. What's your question?
My question to Lafayette, Sway, congratulations on the show. I love Sway in the morning.
Oh, thank you, man.
I love everybody.
Thank you so much.
My question to Lafayette is he the highest paid cast member due to being a gay, playing a gay role on HBO True Blood?
Hell no, bro. No, you're not paid for what you're playing. You pay for what your billing is in your contract. And I'm not number 1, 2, 3, or 4 on the show. So I don't get paid. I get paid what I'm supposed to get paid.
Okay. All right, cool. You're not even top 5 paid?
No. I'm number 6.
I would think like Sookie and Bill and that whole
Sookie, Eric, Bill.
They get paid.
They get paid.
What they make an episode, you know?
I don't know, but more than me.
I read the gossip magazines. I'll say what I heard.
What you hear?
Like Anna, like 75 to 100, 70 to 100 per episode. I don't know if that's accurate.
No.
More than that? More than that?
Way more than that.
But I thought you didn't know.
Well, that's
low. You're saying that's low for someone of that magnitude on a popular show like that.
Well, that's a 7 and an 8. That's 7 and 8.
Really?
Not
That's
1, 2.
7 and 8 make it. So you're number 6. So you making 6 figures an episode?
Ballin'.
Yo, he's a friend of mine. All right, we got Cedric from South Carolina on the line. You want to speak with Lafayette from True Blood? Real name Nelsan Ellis.
Yeah, what's going on, y'all?
What's your question, man?
All right. Hey, Lafayette, man, how do you actually feel about playing a gay character? I mean, does that make you feel, any different from, your regular life or anything?
It only gets strange in how my family responds to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't so much care about anything else, but it's dealing with my father, my brothers, you know what I mean, my sisters. Dealing with them, then it gets strange because I come from a very religious family.
Are you gay?
No,
you're not gay. So, do you have a woman?
No,
you don't have a woman. But you be banging out hoes, all right?
Swag.
Well, I'm just trying to understand where we at. Where are we here?
Wait, no, he answered. Can I ask him something really quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
What was your audition process like for True Blood? Like, did you have to go 6-7 times to audition for the character? Did you just nail it in that one? You knew when you walked out, like, I got this. Like, what was your audition process like?
No, I had 4 auditions. My second audition wasn't good.
It wasn't good?
No, the casting director called. My agent said it sucked, and that I was going on to the third audition by the skin of my teeth, only because she liked my look.
Mm-hmm.
So I realized I was putting on a character.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because Alan Ball is sharp.
Yeah,
he looking for actors who can be something, not actors who can portray something, because then you get caught acting a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to give it my acting coach, figure out where Lafayette lived in my bones, do that, and then be believable as a masculine, feminine butch queen,
right,
who can wear lipstick and whoop some ass.
Jason Mewes is a TV actor, film producer, and internet radio show host. He's played Jay, the vocal half of the duo Jay and Silent Bob, with his longtime friend Kevin Smith. You may have seen him in such films as Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, Scream 3, as well as the Jay and Silent Bob movies. Jay also co-hosts a weekly podcast with Kevin Smith called Jay and Silent Bob Get Old. This is just a snippet from the panel.
You up here, I was like, there's even a guest up here. Thank you.
Nobody cares about me.
Hello. Sorry, I usually stand. This is fun. Sorry, I usually stand, but I guess I can't stand like I guess I can. But hi, sir.
We can get you a microphone.
We can, it's all good. But yeah, these are pretty high sensitive mics. So I can't really. Anyway, I usually stand and Thank you. Now that would just work. No, it works, but it's not as sensitive. There it is. I'm gonna have to adjust my volume. Anyway, yeah, bro. I don't know. I guess you just get up, say hello, pull my balls out. But yeah, but no, and I open it up. But I like it. Yeah. But what do you want to do? I usually don't have moderators. I usually come earlier and then I kick them out. I usually kick them out in the back and say I don't need you. But you're here, so no, I'm not saying I don't need you. You're here already, so. But not in a bad way. I'm just saying I usually open it up and just start chatting with the crowd. So.
I could hide under the table.
No. I want to do what you want to do because you're here, but. I will open it up to them, but I don't know if you want to start off with something sexy.
No, I want to do what you want.
That's why I was late. I was like searching for Red Bulls and coffee, and then this young, nice lady said, we'll bring it to you. So it was very nice. But anyway, yeah, man, what do you want to do, boss? How have you been doing it since you've been here? Have you been moderating everything?
I have not. I'm not that important.
Has there been other Q&As?
Yeah.
Before me? Yeah. So you're not all here for me, you were here because there's Q&As all day and night.
I think they're great.
I appreciate that, I like that, I do, because sometimes my fear is always to come in the room and there's like 4 people. And I would get it because there's lots of cool stuff to do here and lots of things to look at, so I would understand if no one came, but it's always honestly a good feeling when you come out and it's a full room because they can, I'm talking to you, and then you can be down there like, you know, hanging out getting signatures from the Flash and Barry Allen's father / Barry Allen's father. Right? How amazing is that he was the Flash and then years later he's the Flash. Very, 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 I think it was very genius of them to do that clever.
Speaking of Flash, I think somebody on the stage was a special guest on that show. Did a little bit of fist bump.
I didn't want to say anything, but I was the Flash for the first 5 episodes. I was under the mask doing all the stunts. I did get to it, and it was very exciting. It was more exciting for me even more than being, getting to be in the episode and have a speaking part and such. That was definitely cool and all that, but being on set was really exciting for me. Like, I went there with Kevin and was hanging with Kevin, and I got to hang out all day before we shot the day after, and just run around set. I took pictures in the cells, the metahuman cells, and then and then I got to go. The Arrow set is in the same studio place, like a huge studio with all the different buildings, and like the Arrow set, I don't know what they call the cave really, where they all wear Felicity's on the computers and stuff. But like their little man cave, if you will. And then Star Labs, and what's so cool is, like they always do the scene where like Barry will walk out of the room and walk down the tunnel where the hidden room is, the future room, which looks so big on the show, right? But when you're in there, it's like literally the size of this black curtain on it. I'm exaggerating, it is a little bit bigger, but it just seems so cool, like weird to be in there and walk through it, because all of a sudden you're then in this open room. But on the show, I feel like it like wraps around, it's crazy. So, I don't know, that to me was really cool, because I got to walk around and meet other cast and stuff, watch them do their scenes and all that, and then take pictures, and they gave me a tour of the Arrow set, jitters. At that point, they had shot a couple scenes from Legends of Tomorrow, so like parts of the interior of the ship was there. I got to see before it came out when Barry got his powers back in that big machine. That was in there, and that was the one thing they were like, you can't take pictures of this, because the episode hadn't aired and there was a big secret and stuff. So, but it was awesome. It was really cool, and then to meet, get to see Girder in action and. Was zombie Girder at that point. It was cool. And it was cool because Kevin tells the story way better, but if you guys hadn't heard the story, I don't know if you haven't listened to it and you get a chance, we have a podcast called Jay and Silent Bob Get Old. It's on iTunes. Kevin and I do it live, and we've been doing it for about 6 years. And we tour all over, and I was telling a few people that came to my table, hopefully we'll be coming around close to here soon, so you guys who do listen to it can come to come see it live. What was amazing the first time I've heard this, again, this is another reason I love coming to these, is because the first time today someone had said they started watching the movies recently because they listened to the podcast and we were talking about the movies and all that, and they thought the podcast was awesome. So then they started watching the movies, which was a first for me, because usually people watch the movies and then say, oh, these guys do a podcast. So I don't know, I found that to be interesting, and it's pretty awesome that someone found the movies through the podcast. But and so we've talked about it on the podcast before, but you know, when I went up there with Kevin just to hang out, like I was saying, I wanted to just walk around set, meet everybody, and watch them do their magic. And so while I was hanging out, Kevin didn't get the script. I didn't give him the script till he was up there about a week beforehand, and he had read the script, and there's a part that said Jason in it, and the whole zombie girder part and all that. And so I was hanging out in the trailer because he's like, hey, you know, I have to go do some blocking, wait here, and I'll be right back. And when he came back, he got the pages with that scene and said, dude, they're going to put you in the show. They're going to put you in the show. Look, and I look at it, I go, no way, dude, are you serious? Wait, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, dude. And he goes, nah, I'm just kidding. I was like, come on, really? He goes, nah, it doesn't say Jay and Silent Bob. It just says Jason, it's not you. And I was like, oh, man. I was like, whatever. And I was a little bummed, but I was like, whatever, I'm here, and I get to see the set and take pictures. But he didn't know at this point because he got the script. But that day he had done a table read, and they do it, and again, he explains it better because he was there, but they have like Skype, and they're Skyping with people from New York and the producers and all this stuff. And they read through the script and they talk about like, you know, this is a lot of action, this is the tone of this scene is this, blah, 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 blah. And when they got to that part, they're like, all right, Kevin, this is really weird, but we wrote a part for your friend Mewes. And he was like, what? And they're like, yeah, we just figured he'd be here with you. and so he's like, well, he actually is. And they're like, do you think he'll do it? And he's like, are you kidding me? He'll suck your dick to do it. And then he came and told me. So that was really sweet because Kevin didn't ask me to be in it. The writers actually were like, your buddy's going to be in. His buddy's going to probably be with him, so let's just write him a part. So that was really sweet. So it was awesome. Again, the whole experience was surreal and pretty awesome. So, but yeah, so I don't know why I just blabbed on forever about that. I think because I said the Barry Allen's Faja. But yeah, so I don't know, do you want to ask something or do I want to ask them something?
I think these are your biggest fans out here, am I not mistaken? So let's open the floor to
a couple J and Bobs over there. Okay. Alright, I like it. So, wait, did I take the mic? I feel like I can hear everybody. You don't have to carry that, right? Oh, okay. Do you think the cable will work? Or
That's
just
human mic stand.
So we can just form a line right here?
Human mic stand.
If you can, if someone, not everyone, if someone doesn't want to stand up.
What do you want to do, Jason? Do you want to shout out?
I mean, the people that are up now, but if someone doesn't want to stand, if you're coming to ask a question, or you're leaving? Oh, don't sit down, bro. Sit down. You can ask from there. You start it off. Why don't you walk? Yeah. I'm just saying it doesn't go. So this is good. You guys stand because I might blab on, but you ask first and then we'll go through. And anyone else who wants to ask, just stay. Yeah.
This is going to be one of those actor studio questions.
Oh my God.
not that serious.
I know, I'm just kidding.
So, congratulations on coming back with another Jay and Silent Bob.
Thank you. No, a few people have asked me that. I don't think so, not at all. I mean, I feel like the only difference now is just being away from home. Like, but again, when I leave town, I feel like I definitely 100% miss my wife, but I feel like I start getting like depressed missing her, and it's sad to say after about 7-8 days. But I can go like 7-8 days before I put the baby, like literally like as I'm like driving to the airport, I'm like, and it's horrible and it's hard. But that's really it. I don't feel like it will influence. So the point is I feel like the only thing that'll change is now if like we're shooting all day and all that, we're gonna have to leave town, but they'll get to come with me, which is good because my wife actually runs Kevin's company and they're business partners, and she produces all his movies now. She produced Tusk and Yoga Hosers, and she's gonna produce this one. So it's cool because she gets to come with me and work on the movie and stuff. And so she'll bring the baby if we shoot it in Philly or wherever we're gonna shoot it. There's been talks of a few places, but she'll get to come. But I mean, mainly it's that. It's like if I'm leaving all day and I'm gonna be gone all day, I'll probably be annoy her and ask her to like bring the baby to set and stuff because I'll miss her. But not really. I don't feel like it'll change. I don't know. I feel like Kevin didn't really change. Usually, in the past, he would change the character. If you notice, like Clerks 2, like I disappeared, and I mean, the guy comes up and goes, "Where you been, man?" And I say, "Hey, I've got 6 months in rehab," and blah blah blah. And then I had the Bible, and I sober. Like all that was real from real life. Like I really got arrested in '99. I got put me in this girl I was dating drove to Newark, New Jersey, and we got busted because we got in a car accident, and the friggin' bag deployed, whatever it did. The airbag blew, and then we pushed it back, so it wasn't like full. But we pushed it back, but the front end of the car was messed up, and we drove home, and we had drugs on us, and we got pulled over because the cops were like, "Why are you driving this car? It's a mess." But anyway, Kevin wrote that in the movie, and that really happened. So throughout the years, each movie he tweaked a little bit of the character as for what's going on in my life, and so he did that a little bit with this new script as well. But yeah, so I'm saying I feel like he wrote the character to be a little different because of me being a dad, and there's some little things in there that mention stuff. I don't want to give stuff away, but yeah, so it's cool he's adapted, but I don't think it won't change sort of how, what I do. Like, I'll still pull my ball bag out of it. Don't get me wrong, So I think it makes sense. But I'm excited about the movie, man. The script's really, really funny, and it's cool because again, I mentioned the podcast again, but it's been cool because the last couple times we've done the podcast, and hopefully we'll come and do it around here, is Kevin and I have been reading, he's picked a scene from the movie, and we've read it out loud, the scene, me and, he plays there, he narrates it. It's not a big scene, but it's still a little taste of what the movie is, and it's really funny, and it's going to be great. Hopefully everything goes as planned, because as of right now, Kevin's really shooting for us to start filming in August, September. So hopefully that goes as planned, and we start shooting, and then hopefully it'll be out beginning of next year or something. So yeah, it's called Jay and Silent Bob. We're ready for it.
The Black Girl Nerds podcast is produced by Jamie Broadnax. Various episodes are edited by Jamie Broadnax, M.R. Daniel, and John Bauer. The opening theme song to our show is written and performed by Samus. Various instrumentals are performed by Samus, Sky Blue, and Shubzilla. You can find episodes of the Black Girl Nerds podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play Music, Stitcher, Spreaker, and Spotify.
That was a HeadGum podcast.